This episode has been sponsored by BetterHelp. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service, facilitating over 5 million video sessions, voice calls, chats, and messages every month. They have set out on a mission to make sure everyone has easy, affordable, and access to high-quality therapy. Since 2013, over 30,000 licensed, accredited, and board-certified therapists from BetterHelp's network have helped more than 2 million people face life's challenges and improve their mental health.
If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It is entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited for your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge.
Stop comparing and start focusing with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/hourglass today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/hourglass.
Hey, Hourglass Podcast. The time is now.
Now or never, baby.
What you waiting on? The time is now.
What you waiting on?
She got a body like an hourglass.
Podcast.
This is the Hourglass Podcast. The time is now. I'm
Rated R in the building.
Boo.
What's going on, fellas? What's going on tonight, fellas? How you doing?
Man, I'm doing great. I'm feeling great.
Feeling great.
Belly's full, you know.
Big gope up.
You know. Big up to the gope up.
Okay, that's great. That's great. Now we're going to get into our show that we're going to do. Our show topic for today is going to be who, what, when, where, and we need help too.
Definitely do.
Yes,
we need help too.
Well, speaking on that aspect, we mental health, man's mental health. You know, something that we need to all get into, stay focused, look up, pay attention to what's going on around you and families and everything else. And I think that's very important. It's an important situation, basically.
Important topic.
As man, we deal with a lot of battles on a daily basis, but today we're going to talk about mental health awareness.
All right. Well, let's get into it then.
Let's get into it.
And I want to start off with something before we get into it right there.
Okay.
Say men are far more likely than women to go missing, sleep rough, become dependent on alcohol, and use drugs frequently due to mental health.
What causes the mental health issues?
The main thing that causes the issues of mental health is life on a daily basis as a man. This is what we got to deal with. A lot of I want to say people think that man just can just deal with so many things that we just got the shoulders just to bear everything.
Mm-hmm.
The broad shoulders.
And the broad shoulders, broad shoulders. They're not seeing that we suffer in silence.
Yeah, and then sometimes that being a man, it become difficult reaching out to others, rather if it's significant other, wife, mom, father, whoever the situation may be. Sometimes it's good to just sit down and just talk about the issue that you have or going over with yourself and stuff like that. And sometimes it can be a little bit difficult for the males to kind of reach out to others.
Yeah, and also it becomes so this social persona, that man has to be this way, and if you're not you're not really a man. Like, always gotta be hard. You gonna try to live up to them standards because that's what they so call a man, and not be able to actually, you bottle stuff up and you do that because that's what man, quote unquote, supposed to do. And you start developing different things. Like, what are some of the types of mental health?
And that's what leads on to depression. Depression is the number one. I want to say right under falls under mental health.
Yeah,
that we one of the other the causes.
Yeah.
Of mental health, right? Depression, and that is it when we feel like that we can bear everything on our shoulders, And that creates that stigma that, okay, as being a man, we can do it. But then that forces a lot of things to come onto our shoulders, and that leads to depression.
Yeah.
That leads to a lot of ailments, a lot of illnesses that can happen to us. Yeah. That's why the cause right now is, as far as like we leading, I say about the life expectancy of a man is 67 years old.
It's dwindling down.
And it's going down further than that. On the serious note, it is.
You know, and sometimes like it causes isolation too as well. You know, isolation, sometimes domestic violence. Yes. Domestic violence, you know, that's something
Lashing out.
That's the lash out. Something that you want to control it. Sometimes some people can't control that, you know, and, you know, being isolation that I spoke about before, just speak to somebody about it, you know, work problems, too many hours on a workplace. You know, you can go on and on with the situation.
It could be retirement. You know, like you have to get to this certain age just to feel like I made it or something, you know. And you know, that could be depressing, going and trying to reach this goal just so you can be, you know, quote unquote, say I'm retired, you know. I mean, it comes out of different ways. I mean, and then they even say PTSD, you know. You know, could be a certain, you know, systems. Like, what do you think with people in jail, like, you know, who has a lot of time to think about like things? You think they have? Is it possible to really concentrate on it while you know?
And I like to speak to that PTSD with people that's in the urban community, minorities.
Yeah.
Now, a word from our sponsor. We deal with a lot of PTSD, a lot of trauma that happens, especially growing up, early childhood, that things that we don't get to talk to anybody about at all.
Yeah.
So I want to lead on with that to say that if you're thinking about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Stop comparing and start focusing with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/hourglass today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/hourglass.
Serious stuff.
Great. So I have a quick question for you all.
Okay.
Is the mental health, is it my fault, my problem situation? Like, where does it come from? You know, a lot of people think, some of the people that's in that situation just believe it's their fault, their situation. You know, they're not believing that it's just a mental health aspect of the situation. And sometimes they blame themselves, and it takes them deeper into depression and amongst other things. So is it a me thing, you believe?
Well, I mean, what I think is it's always a me thing.
But you got someone blame themselves for that.
But but that's where it starts. You know, it's you pointing at yourself. So it starts at a me thing, and just because of the stigma that you don't want to reach out to different people, you want to stay this steady line and don't want to cross it, just so you won't be portrayed as, oh, he ain't really, you know. No, it's gonna take some stuff. It's really my rendition of like mental health is really like life emotions. So that's like everything else is in the bubble, just floating around it, and it's your life emotions. And it's up to you. You got to start with yourself, you know, kind of to take it there, to, you know, accept some of the things, you know, and kind of almost erase and start over your thinking process, because you're going to dwell in it.
That's true, but go back to what Ray and I said about it being a us thing, whose fault is it? You want to say, as a man, you always, you taught from younger, looking at your uncle, your father, or that male figure in your life. It's like, all right, you see that, okay, they take the brunt of everything. So we're going to put it on our shoulders regardless. It can be somebody else's fault, but we are in that role of protectors. So by us being that role of protectors, we're going to always take the blame. And that's where all that pressure comes on again on top of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely that.
I mean, just the reason why you don't see men really cry.
That's true.
You know,
that's true.
I mean,
Say, man, don't cry. You crying a dog.
Yeah, and you actually, it's healthy.
It is. It is
You know,
therapeutic.
It's therapeutic. It releases the water out,
Yeah.
and replenishes.
It does.
So I mean, it's chemically good to let it out, and that's why it causes these mental things in us because we don't really let it out. We tend to let things like brush off
Bottled up.
and stay bottled up.
And speaking about keeping things bottled up, and that's where the suicide rate comes in. Men are three times as likely more than women to die from suicide.
Yeah.
So keeping the bottle up is not a good thing at all.
No,
Keep it bottled up, you're gonna do something else to hurt yourself, and that's why we want to prevent that.
Yeah, and then you also have to look at it as an age thing. So being a kid, being a kid, be talked about. Kids can be mean and rude or stuff like that, and it can make another kid feel a certain way, and it can come into their mental aspect or something like that. Killing themselves, and we done read all types of situations about that. So it's not only an adult thing, and it also is a kid thing as well. So I think that we have to pay a little more attention to the kids as well about that situation. Not sure if how many schools have counselings and stuff like that, but they all should have counseling for the kids.
and that was one of my questions I was going to ask. It was, should kids have counselors in school?
Sure.
Is it needed? Like, is it needed?
Very much needed. Very much needed.
What you think?
They do have counselors in school. I think kids they have in high school, you have a counselor, somebody you can speak to. A lot of times, the kids don't know to go to them or don't even know how to ask, because at home, sometimes when the kids growing up in some households, it's not it's looked at as a taboo thing to ask for help in the household, especially in the minority community. It's looked as a taboo. Most of the time, outside of the minority community, other races will go seek help, and that's a big thing.
And the biggest thing is, like you said, we like to stay bottled up, whether we grown or we kids. We all have these people around us that you're supposed to be a certain. You get adapted to your environment, right? So you try to be at least in the middle. You know what I'm saying? No bullying and stuff like that. And who wants to? And the stigma comes back to, like, if I go tell, then I'm a punk.
That's true.
Yeah.
And then they won't go tell. He went to go talk to the counselor. Like,
Yeah.
see, so it's easier for a kid to kind of like, no, I'm not going to the office, and because then they're gonna say I'm in the library class or something. I got stuff like that. Like, kids are very harsh. Yeah,
Very cruel. And then I want to say the parents need to come out more. Your kid is having an issue, whatever. It's okay to pick up the phone and request for help for your child. So the minute you see something, hear something, please just reach out. Just reach out as a parent, and get help as soon as possible. That really can help that individual, that child, for the future. So we want to, hopefully that the parents, please just reach out for help for your kid.
yeah.
Because you want to correct it at the adolescent stages.
Yeah.
And you don't want them to grow up with these issues.
Right,
And that's
right.
where you stop the problem at the beginning. Right
Yeah.
there. I definitely understand that, Ray.
Definitely.
And as you get older, you have to, give yourself permission to say enough is enough, and I'm gonna deal with it. It's because, like I said, it starts with yourself. So you have to kind of erase it and say, give yourself another chance, because it can stay bottled up, and as long as you don't talk about it, then you said the what was you said the rate people
2 times more likely to commit suicide.
And really what it's all bottom to is that they don't really want to die. They just want to escape the pain.
That's it.
That
is
like
it.
they don't want it no more.
It's a coping mechanism.
Yeah,
Right there.
and it's like, I had enough. You know what I'm saying? Of the thing that they never talked about to nobody. I had enough. No one understands me.
It
I
is.
had enough of this.
It is.
And if they don't really want to go, if they had the proper, people around them and counseling and things like that, I don't think it would go that far. But it's usually coping with something and trying to erase, like I was talking about, like all the pain.
That is. And also another thing too, it can lead into the finances, building your finances, where you can go into, like, that's another coping mechanism, like spending cash, losing money, or just spending just on frivolous things, just wanting to like get away. That's a thing. A lot of things where people like got a shopping habit.
It's kind of like a disease.
It's a disease.
It becomes a habit because it makes you feel a little better because you're not thinking about the things that hurt you so bad. You're thinking about what this shirt look like on me and how these shoes look with the shirt. It kind of, and it keeps your mind off of all the stuff that you try to, put back in your mind,
It does.
Yeah, definitely. And now, another question I have: the hardest mental illness to live with. Personality disorder, aka schizophrenic. Yeah.
Wow, that's a big one. That's a big one right there. Yeah. Yes, and a lot of people suffer from that.
Yeah. You can be this way one day, this way the next day. You can be this person today and that person tomorrow.
And then dwell even deeper into that is different stages of it. Like the highest being maniac episodes, where they get to the maniac stages, then they have stages under that.
Right.
So there's different levels of schizophrenia that come from that. So it's a thing, because you don't even have to show symptoms of it. Really, it can just come up in spurts.
Yeah,
come out like being combative or anything, or just not just shutting down, not speaking. Yeah. So it's different stages you have to look for.
Yeah, it's like shaking up a pop and opening it a little bit.
Just a little bit, letting it seep out. The gas, right?
It's gonna come out. Some gonna come out. You know what I'm saying? You still got it's still kind of closed. It's still got this pop is pretty full, but you know.
Yeah. So please, if you know anybody that's suffering from such disorders, please reach out. Please reach out for help. Please.
Yes, definitely do. And also too, if you're looking for somebody to talk to, definitely try BetterHelp. BetterHelp is there to assist, and that's visit BetterHelp. That's HELP.com/hourglass, and you will receive a 10% off your first month.
And everybody, man, just remember, be a friend to a friend.
I like that.
Love each other. Love each other. Respect each other.
I am my sister's keeper. I am my brother's keeper.
And we need help too.
We need help too.
I am Rated R.
I am Dub Boot.
I am B-Lo. And we need help too.
Hourglass Podcast. The time
is now.
Thank you for listening to the Hourglass Podcast. The time is now. Shoot us an email at info@hourglasspodcasting.com to submit questions and to become a future guest. It's our time. Now, let's make the best of it. Peace.